All right, man, peace. So, brothers, over the course of the past 3 years, I've taken quite a bit of flack from Kobe Bryant's fan base due to my assertion that he is not a top 10 all-time great NBA player. I stand by that. One of the main reasons why I'm always going back and forth with so many of the members of his contingency is because of the media narrative that Kobe Bryant is right there behind Michael Jordan. So naturally, the correlation is that since Michael Jordan is considered the greatest player of all time, at least in the modern era by most people, if Kobe Bryant is the closest facsimile, he must at least be in the top 10, if not top 5. Some people have him 1A to Jordan. Those of us who got to watch Michael Jordan's entire career know that there is a clear distinction between Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. But just to get back to the point, just because I make that objective observation does not mean that I am a quote-unquote hater of Kobe Bryant. I just call out some of his personality foibles. I actually like his personality. He's a lot like myself. Pragmatic, get right to the point, either create a solution or move forward in some other type of way so that we can resolve the issue, not belly ache and go emotional over silly shit. That's what I like about Kobe. What I don't like is that, to be quite honest with you, he's a lot more like a snake than even he's willing to admit. That's why I believe that the moniker that he chose for himself, Black Mamba, is entirely appropriate. He does speak with a forked tongue. That's why I have a series called Kobe Bryant Still Lying to His Fans, because he is a pathological liar. He will say and do whatever he needs to say and do to get to where he needs to get in his mind. And recently, his attempt at being bluntly honest has blown up in his face, because as I always tell you, brothers, especially in the celebrity sphere or the entertainment sphere, they will allow males to rise up, even so-called black males who are extremely talented, as long as they're subservient to the concept and the energy of the quote-unquote divine feminine. You can talk down to other men all you want, especially other so-called black men. But two entities that you cannot offend are the quote-unquote liberal woman and the concept of the homosexual, the lesbian, and the transgender. All four of those demographics are directly associated with the divine feminine energy, because you have the liberal woman, who represents the independent aspect of the mother goddess, and you also have the homosexual, the lesbian, and the transgender, who all exude either part or an entire aspect of the feminine energy in some way, shape, or form. So people like Jay-Z, Kobe Bryant, they do have to show obeisance to the concept of the quote-unquote divine feminine. And if they diverge from that obeisance or that supplication in any way, they can lose everything in a moment. Remember that the last time that the media really came hard at Kobe en masse is when he called an NBA referee a faggot. Remember that about 10 years ago? The man spazzed out on some ref and called him a faggot and got suspended and also got fined something like $50,000. Kobe Bryant recently decided that he was going to criticize his girls' basketball team for finishing in 4th place. And he highlighted the absence of a single girl from the basketball team, and he criticized her for placing more importance on a dance recital or something of that sort over the importance of the team. Of course, that caused many of his followers on social media to attack him, and he immediately became defensive, but in a different way than how he would when he was a player, and he offended some of his male teammates. He took the humble route in defending what he was attempting to communicate to his audience. Why is that? Because that is what the quote-unquote masculine principle must do when confronted by the feminine principle in the entertainment world or in the corporate world. You have to take low, you have to supplicate yourself, you have to show humility before them, because that is the transcendent energy right now, is the quote-unquote mother goddess energy. So Kobe had to say, oh no, I was fine with her going to the dance recital. I was just trying to say that we've grown as a unit and blah, blah, blah. Look, at the end of the day, if Kobe Bryant had not been compromised by his ambition to become a billionaire, he could have spoken the truth. That being that I'm Kobe Bean Bryant. I'm a master instructor. I understand the game of basketball in and out. It's similar to when you were a child. Maybe if you're a parent and you have a child. There are two types of parents that want their child to learn how to play an instrument like the piano. There's the parent who just wants their child to learn the keys and the chords. And then there's the parent that wants their child to become so proficient at playing the piano that they have a solo performance at the Met or something like that. So that means that you need two different types of instructors. Because for the parent that just wants their child to learn how to play the keys and the chords, you need a basic instructor. But for the parent that wants their child to perform in a solo at the Met, you need someone super duper serious and talented who's going to create a regimented program for your child, and you have to know what you're getting into. So the people who were upset at Kobe Bryant for making the statement that he made about that girl were dead wrong. And Kobe was wrong for bowing down to them and conforming to the pressure. But once again, I know why he did it. He did that because he is now in the corporate sphere, and he has to bow down to the divine feminine. If he wants to be a billionaire through his little Luciferian children's books and his witchcraft animation shorts, he has to show the woman that she is his head. If you want to become a billionaire, especially in the corporate world, you need the woman because she's going to be the number one consumer. So anyway, they're going to talk about it. I'm going to chime in.
Starting with Kobe Bryant, as you have undoubtedly seen everywhere, he posted this picture on Instagram with a caption that reads in part, quote, "Here is our fourth place, quote, winner's picture, LOL.
Nobody
6 of the kids in the picture stayed with me and worked every single day to get better. The 7th player not in pick missed this game for a dance recital, so that should tell you where her focus was at the time, meaning she enjoyed dance more than ball, which is fine." After some backlash following that caption, Kobe posted this. Now this you might not have seen, and it's amazing. This is a video of him saying, "When I was 12, I skipped basketball for 2 weeks
Stop it.
so I could dance in the school show. I'm all about diversifying while young."
So basically, Kobe Bryant had to shame himself in order to re-ingratiate himself with his social media following, because that's very important, at least for people who have a burgeoning business.
And locking in on your passion. Richard, is the backlash to Kobe's IG post something, nothing, or everything?
It's something, right? Like, look, Kobe.
It's something from the standpoint that Kobe Bryant felt the need to conform and to give validity to the nameless masses out there, the people who don't matter. And that's not something that the quote-unquote Black Mamba would have done 10 years ago.
Bryant has done a great rebrand, right? He's done a great job selling kids' books and doing all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, Kobe Bryant is the same person that a trainer saw him in the team's locker room and was like, "Hey, Kobe, I'm glad you're here. We're taking the team picture tomorrow." And inside the locker room with other players that can hear him, this is when they were struggling. It's like, "You think I want to take a picture with these blanking losers?" Like, that's who Kobe Bryant is. So then
Honest. And it's the truth. He was surrounded by losers in 2015 and 2016. The problem is he was one of them. Kobe always wanted to separate himself from part of the mess that he helped create. When Kobe's team started to win in the late 2000s, you had to know that it was going to end how it ended. It was never going to be feasible for Kobe Bryant to go out on a team that was 45 and 37 or 50 and 32, because he never played a winning brand of basketball other than when he was associated with the top MK handler known as Phil Jackson. That's the only time he's even come close to winning in the playoffs or showing any type of success whatsoever. But he did tell the truth. He was surrounded by a bunch of damn losers. And I do agree with Richard Jefferson. Kobe has done a wonderful job of rebranding himself. Now he's considered some type of basketball Yoda. He has this great sage wisdom, and everyone's supposed to come to him to let him teach them how to understand the game. Even though if you watch him play the game of basketball, he constantly made bad decision after bad decision. But all of a sudden, he sits back, he allowed his beard to grow, he's clean shaven up top, so that helps to reinforce the image of him being some type of sage wizard. And he's going to assist all of the young NBA players in understanding the grandiose aspect of the game of basketball. It's a religious experience, and I'm your basketball pope. I'm Kobe Bean Bryant.
then you get to this spot where his people are, his team that he's been working with. One girl doesn't show up. Was she the best player? Was she the seventh man? Or was this is an excuse, right? At the end of the day, show up with what you got. But Kobe Bryant got a little heat. He backtracked. Kobe's not one to backtrack because I think he kind of saw that like this was definitely taken the wrong way.
No, I think that he saw that this could explode and it could mushroom and become a distraction to some of the goals that he has for his company in the near future. So just supplicate yourself before the divine feminine, embarrass and shame yourself by showing some old dance recital that you were in that really is just meant for family and friends to see, and hope that you can appease the audience out there. I'm sorry for offending any female on the planet Earth.
I think, here's the thing. First of all, what we hold as standards for a pro athlete, not for middle school. These are children. These are children.
Dance recitals are expensive.
Amin Al-Hassan, please keep in mind that Kobe Bryant is a wonderkind, meaning he started playing basketball and he embraced the path and the curriculum to becoming proficient at basketball from the age of 3 years old. And we see this over and over and over again. He is literally a genius at his craft. Even though people think I give him a hard time, he is a genius at his craft. I just don't like a lot of his decisions, and I don't like the fact that he's a pathological liar. But when you look at Kobe, Serena Williams, Tiger Woods, Floyd Mayweather, these are people who you would call wonderkins. They started out at the age of 2 years old, 3 years old on their pathway to greatness in the sports sphere. So that's the mindset that Kobe Bryant has with these young girls. Intensity doesn't start at 20 years old. Intensity starts at 7, 8 years old.
Second of all, right? It doesn't matter why she missed it.
No, no.
Second of all, Baxter Holmes had a really nice in-depth feature about a month or a couple months ago about the negative effects of over-specialization at too young of age. Like the injuries that we're seeing here at the NBA level, that's beyond like the mental burnout and all that. I watched this great documentary called In Search of Greatness. They talked to Jerry Rice, they talked to Pele, they talked to Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky said, as soon as hockey season was over, I would throw my gear in the basement. I never played hockey again until winter. I grabbed my baseball bat. I played different sports, and all of them were talking about no one specialized at that age, and these are the greatest of the greats at their thing. This thing here, he could have just left it at that. Here's our 4th-place winners picture, and we were mad, and we worked, and we got better. That's cool. But the idea to point out that this girl wasn't there, to point out why she wasn't there, and then to point out, well, that's to tell you where her focus was at this time.
I'll tell you what.
Right, but that's what you would expect from Kobe Bryant. That's actually on brand. So you should blame the parents for signing their daughter up to play on Kobe Bryant's team if they took exception to it, and I'm pretty sure that they didn't. If you look at the team photo, it's very clear, even though Kobe Bryant denies it, it's very clear that he said, we're not going to smile for 4th place. Nobody in this photo is allowed to smile.
I can't, if that was, no, listen, it is Bush League, because if that was my kid and you singled out my kid, given your greatness and how many people we're going to see and we're talking about on the jump, me and you are going to have a conversation.
Absolutely.
Me and you're going to have a conversation. What are you going to converse with him about, Richard? You going to slap him in the face with a white glove? Get out of here, man.
You were going to have a conversation because now my kid now has to deal with this, and I'm not going to talk about...
Well, then your stupid ass should not have put your kid on Kobe Bryant's team because you already know what Kobe Bryant is about. That's why I stated that there are 2 types of parents. There's the parent that just wants their child to learn how to play a few piano chords, and then there's the parent that wants to enter their child into what's known as an apprenticeship. When your child is entered into an apprenticeship, they're expected to become a specialist in their field. If you watch Floyd Mayweather box in the amateurs, he boxed the same way in the amateurs that he boxed at 35 years old because he started so young and he was gifted with that ability. Serena Williams, Venus Williams, Tiger Woods, all pretty much the same thing. Every once in a while, you'll have a special athlete who starts in their early teens, like a Ray Robinson. He didn't start boxing until he was 14. Muhammad Ali started at 12. Michael Jordan really committed to basketball at 14 years old. But it's very common for wonderkins like Kobe Bryant, who started at 3 years old, to believe that you should start with the intense training as young as possible. You have to understand that as a parent before you sign your child up into their program.
Like, everybody sided with her, or kind of sided against Kobe, but still, me and you have to have a conversation, Aaron.
You're not going to have a conversation with no fucking body. Get out of here.
That story, right? Kwame Brown grew up idolizing Michael Jordan. Jordan posters on the wall, everything. Got drafted by the Wizards. I'm playing with Michael Jordan. It's a dream come true. And then, like, after a week of practices, he wanted to quit basketball because Michael Jordan was, like, over.
Michael Jordan.
Right.
Michael Jordan wanted to win, and Kwame Brown was not a winner. He was a loser. That's why Kwame didn't get along with Michael, and that's why he didn't get along with Kobe. Because Kwame Brown really was not an NBA player. He was just a guy who was big, who worked out. He had no skills whatsoever, and he had 2 stone tablets for hands. That was the issue with Kwame Brown. So don't try to blame Michael Jordan's intensity for why Kwame Brown pretty much ended up folding and leaving the NBA in a few seasons.
So there's an impact of someone who you idolize, look up to, like being overly hard for you. This is a middle school child, right? It might say, oh, just get over it, whatever. It's a middle school child having to hear Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest players of all time, talk about where your focus at. Oh.
Yes, that's normally what great teachers ask students. Where's your focus at? Like if you send your child to school and the child does not do their homework or they're not showing up to school, when they go to school the next day, a great teacher is going to ask them, where's your focus at? The real issue in America is pussified men like you two guys on the panel who are bowing down before the divine feminine. Kobe Bryant has also had to bow down before the divine feminine because he's trying to expand and amplify his corporate profile. But this notion that he has no right to call out a child, even if they're falling short of their responsibilities, is hogwash, is nonsense.
I'm going to bring a little more nuance into this, right? Because I think you're completely right about, we all know who Kobe Bryant is, right? I think Bomani tweeted like, oh, being coached by Kobe Bryant turns out to be exactly like what I thought being coached by Kobe Bryant would be. But people have complex beliefs, right? If you talk to Kobe Bryant about what he thinks, even his daughters, who I know he's hell-bent on getting into the WNBA, should do, he wants them to train in other things. Yeah. He talks about those kids at his Mamba Sports Academy, and he will go out.
Now, for those of you brothers who were paying attention, when Rachel Nichols started her statement, she said to bring more nuance to this. In other words, she was saying, you two guys are being overly emotional about this issue, way too binary, and not checking out the wrinkles in order to, to tell your own tale about what this story is actually about. That's why she stated that Kobe Bryant actually likes for his children to play different sports, so on and so forth. All Kobe was saying is that when you make a commitment to a team, you have to show up for the games. You can't all of a sudden say, oh, I have a dance recital, because he's taking what he's doing seriously. He's spending time and taking his time instructing the young girls on the ins and outs of basketball. He's actually teaching them the triangle offense. So he expects them to be there at any and all times that the team is scheduled to meet up for practice and for games. He is Kobe Bryant. He's not a regular basketball coach. You have to understand that. But what this is really about, it's very obvious that Richard Jefferson and Amin El-Hassan just don't like Kobe Bryant. And that's why I tell Kobe's fans who think that I dislike him. If I really disliked him, I would nitpick little stories like this. But it's very clear what this is about with Amin El-Hassan and Richard Jefferson. Kobe probably cursed out Richard Jefferson on the basketball floor. And keep in mind that Amin El-Hassan was associated with the Phoenix Suns organization back in the mid to late 2000s when the Lakers were going up against the Suns in the playoffs. So that's pretty much what it's about. And on top of that, they probably both know a lot of stories about Kobe behind the scenes.
Prior to this Instagram post, and talk about just what you said, that you have to have cross-training and you have to have your mind be activated by more than one thing. So you can think that and be the guy you're talking about.
And my thing is this, I am not upset at Kobe. I'm not.
Yes, you are. You act like a $2 hoe. Talking about, me and him are going to have a conversation. Well, the conversation that you should have had with Kobe should have been before you signed your child up to play in his program, because everyone knows what type of person Kobe is. That's why I stated it's not about liking or disliking. It's just about making objective observations.
Kobe for being aggressive and being who we know Kobe Bryant to be. The only thing is like, hey, Kobe, it's okay to be wrong, right? Because you don't know if a parent was like, hey, we're paying for these dance recitals. This was the postseason. We didn't know it was going to cross thing. Your grandmother's coming in for this postseason. We don't.
So you don't think that Kobe Bryant had a conversation with the parents before girl number 7 didn't show up for the game? You're just assuming that Kobe went straight to Instagram to throw girl number 7 under the bus.
We don't know.
Like we don't
know the story.
Even if he doesn't know any of those things, there's no point a year later to Instagram post about it. There's no point. What are you doing? You're trying to shame a kid? Come on, man.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's a kid.
Let's move on.
So now, from now on, we know that teachers and instructors are not allowed to tell students that they're not trying hard enough. And then we wonder why there are so many idiots in the school system today, not just amongst the students, but amongst the teachers. Everyone is scared to offend everyone else. That's how you know that truth cannot be propagated, because the truth is offensive. It is what it is. But anyway, when it comes to the issue of Mr. Kobe Bean Bryant saying what he had to say to girl number 7, I'm not surprised about what he said. I'm also not surprised that he relented. because he knows that there's a lot on the line, especially in this Me Too movement world. And if he didn't fall back, this could have mushroomed, this could metastasize, especially with simps like this on television. So peace.